Top of the day to you. You all are welcome to this amazing masterclass, the four-step blueprint to career clarity and success. I'll be showing you amazing ways to map your career path with ease so you can experience a highly rewarding and productive career. They call me the Purpose Doctor. My name is Olugbenga-wyse. And today I'll be showing you some interesting things that will change your career lives forever. In the words of one of my late mentors, he says, at the end of our lives, we do not regret the things at which we did and failed at, but the things that we wish we had done, but we never did. So I'm super excited that you are able to watch this masterclass. And at the end of the day, you would be able to say thank you to me. Now let's get straight into it. Let's dive straight into it. And I'll be sharing my screen right about now. All right, guys, so this is exactly what it is, the four-step blueprint to career clarity and success. It's a masterclass, and like I mentioned earlier, my name is Olugbenga-wyse, and they call me the Purpose Doctor. Well, quick facts I would like to share with you just before we actually get started and dive straight into it. A recent study shows that out of the world's 1 billion full-time workers, only 15% of people are engaged at work, and an astronomical 85% of people are unhappy in their jobs. Another study shows that people who hold jobs with characteristics and tasks that are related to their personality are more productive, a lot happier, and they make more money. I know you like the sense of and the sound of that. Well, in the words of John Holland, his theory postulates that our career success is a true expression of our personalities. So we can see here the personality actually is so much a big deal when it comes to a career. And then, of course, the final factor I'd like to share with you is that nobody can operate beyond their level of awareness and their discovery. Today, I'll be sharing with you, four things that will change your career lives forever. At the end of this masterclass, there are four things that would have happened to you. One, you would have developed a sense of awareness of your current career realities. Two, you would have developed another sense of discovery that gives you this quest, for self-knowledge. As we can see here, that personality is big deal. And then, of course, you would have developed another sense of actualization, with a burning desire to succeed. And finally, you would have developed a sense of fulfillment, and have that need to have an impact in your immediate world. All right, so who am I and why do I really care? Like I mentioned earlier, I'm the Purpose Doctor. My name is Olugbenga-wyse. I'm a certified coach, a speaker, and a trainer. I'm also the founder of the Career Blueprint Coaching Program, CBC, and I am on a mission to help young professionals like you know what they should be doing with their lives and how to achieve it so they can become the best versions of themselves. And I know exactly where the shoe hurts. I've been there before. I graduated with a degree I was never going to use, and I had the results that could hardly even get me a job. I lived in fear, I was confused, I was frustrated, I lacked clarity, and I didn't even know exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I was just experimenting, jumping from one place to the other, doing everything possible, just to get that career satisfaction and fulfillment that I was desperate for. But I realized in my journey of over 15 years that acquiring many certifications without clarity was a pure waste of time. It's a waste of energy, waste of resources. I also discovered that life and career satisfaction and fulfillment did not come for me with high-paying jobs or working for high-profile organizations, but solely by doing what I was best designed and built to do and going all out to make it happen. Well, you can always follow me up on social media and check me out on my website. That's www.experiencewise.com, and the same across all social media handles. Well, within the last 5 years, my speaking and training went levels higher. Started writing books, experiencing a rewarding and productive career. I generated 7 figures in income from functioning effectively in my ideal profession and career. Amazing, right? Yes. And I've only highlighted just a few of these achievements just to show you and assure you that when it comes to gaining career clarity and direction, I learned it the hard way. Big time, fam. I learned it the hard way and I've discovered exactly what works. And I want to show you that today. Now, let me take one of the testimonials from, one of my past clients, talking about Vivian Uwandu. She's a sales admin officer. She said, the purpose doctor took me in and out of myself under 30 minutes. To say I have gained career clarity is the least yet. I'm stunned by how that it could bring me face to face with me, and never for once would I doubt my capabilities again. Thank you, sir, at Experience-Wise. So yes, this is what it is all about today. The 4-step blueprint to career clarity and success. Amazing masterclass that you've decided to be a part of today, and I'm so excited for you. We're going to learn exactly how you can map out your career path with ease to experience a productive and highly rewarding career. Now, who is this masterclass for? That's a very big question to ask. Well, this is for young professionals who are unhappy, unsettled, and unfulfilled about their current jobs, their professions, or their career. This is also for you if you're confused about what you really should be doing as regards your career. People have asked you many times, you've even asked yourself, what should I really be doing as regards my life? And you can't even give a clear answer about it. There is no clarity of purpose, there is no clarity of direction, and this has left you totally frustrated. But this is for you if you're struggling with your tasks at work, your assignments at work, your project at work, and your job now feels like a chore, and then you no longer even enjoy what you do. This is exactly for you if you no longer look forward to Mondays. There was a time I didn't even look forward to Mondays at all. Fridays were like my best days of the week. This is for you if you have lost all sense of motivation and passion for your job, your career, or your profession. And finally, this is for you if you're listening to me, if you know that there is more to life than what it is. As in, you just know it, that is more to you right now that you currently are doing on your job. But you're kind of stuck on that job that you rather not do. And you're genuinely considering a career change, but you fear the unknown. Well, what's common to all these people I just mentioned right now? There is this need for self-awareness, an evaluation and realization of your current career realities. There's a need for self-discovery from what I've just mentioned across board, gaining clarity and purpose about what you really should be doing. Another thing that is common to all the people I just mentioned is the need for self-actualization. They want to have this sense of direction, becoming more involved and engaged in a career that they are best suited for. And finally, there is a need, for self-fulfillment, taking the right and deliberate action steps towards achieving that dream career they've always wanted to have. Well, this may not be for you if you're listening to me right now, and you feel free, to opt out of this masterclass immediately by not watching it. If you're not ready to experience a highly rewarding and productive career that is characterized by promotions, by recognitions, by awards, by positive appraisals, and everything that you've always desired concerning your career. Well, this is not for you if you're not particular about career purpose and fulfillment. I mean, you're not big on these things. When people mention career purpose and fulfillment, you're like, what are they saying? It might not be for you. Well, this is not for you if you're not ready to commit to taking action to experience your desired results. And this may not be for you if you're not ready to break out from that comfort zone syndrome. My goodness, which is a very dangerous place to be. It's a place where a lot of people are at the moment. Okay, so here is my promise to you guys. There are 6 things I can promise and guarantee you. First, I'm going to show you my tried, tested, and trusted step-by-step career clarity framework on how to know what you should be doing with your life. You'll be able to craft out a career purpose statement. I'll be able to show you the secrets behind why you struggle, with achieving your career goals and how to begin to smash those goals. I'm going to show you, the path to experiencing a productive and highly rewarding career, and some hacks on how to strategically switch between careers if need be. I would also be showing you the necessary ingredients to help you design a career plan with clear action steps so you no longer waste time, you no longer waste energy or resources, and then you can now begin to focus on trainings, on programs, and even certifications that truly matter. A lot of us just embark on a lot of all the certifications and trainings and programs, and we don't even know if that's truly what we need. But I'll be able to show you the necessary ingredients that would help you create a clear framework for you to actually know exactly your next steps. I'll also be showing you a proof of the success stories, and at the end, the next 60 minutes is value packed. Very, very much value packed. So please do me a favor, guys. All right, as we get started and dive straight into it, I need your total focus on this. Yes, total focus. Put your phones away, put it on silence if possible, maybe switch it off, lock your doors, don't let anybody intrude. I need your total focus. No distractions, no televisions, nothing at all. You need to stay on this, guys, if you're going to get the value of what you truly want from this masterclass. And then, of course, I would require you to take notes. So get a notepad, get a pen, and begin to take notes. But don't do too much writing, so much that you leave the essence of what I will be sharing with you today. Okay, so are you ready? Come on. Woo! Are you ready? Let's go, let's do this. So the Career Blueprints Coaching Program is my signature coaching program designed for young professionals in dire need of career clarity, career purpose, and direction. It's called the GAME Framework, G-A-M-E, GAME Framework. And it's a 4-stage process or 4-stage blueprint that guarantees savvy young professionals like you self-awareness, self-discovery, self-actualization, and self-fulfillment in varied industries. So I don't care what industry that you belong to, it guarantees you success, whatever industry you find yourself, whether it's the entertainment, whether it's oil and gas, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's sales and marketing, I don't care, wherever it is. This is a framework that does wonders. Now, the Career Blueprint Coaching Framework takes you through these 4 stages. The gestation stage, which is the G in the acronym, the affirmation stage, the motivation stage, and the execution stage. Now, stay with me, guys. Stay with me. The gestation stage is the first stage, and it's the self-awareness stage where your career realities are evaluated and your dominant needs are assessed. This is the first step that helps us to identify the limitations or what contributes to your career productivity. Affirmation is a second stage that helps you with self-discovery. It helps you, with clarity. This is the place where you gain clarity of purpose, and of course, you know exactly what you should be doing with your life. And the motivation stage is where you begin to have the big picture. Most times people do not know that goal setting ideally goes beyond just what you want into what you truly need for your career. And the execution stage is where you go through how to set very, very workable, achievable, obtainable action steps, clear action steps of knowing the first step and your next steps towards career success. So let's go straight into the very first stage, the gestation stage. I don't care exactly where you are in your career right now. You always need an evaluation. Yes, you need to do a diagnosis. You need to do a check. It's so important. Even if you want to have a career change or job change or switch careers or a job, you need to do a proper diagnosis. You need to do a proper check. Even as you climb up the ladders, in your career, you constantly need to do, diagnoses and check on your career. Regular career evaluations, assessments, and diagnoses can never be underestimated, guys. It will help you to come face to face with your current career realities. You know exactly what the problem is. This will help you know exactly what to stop doing, what you need to keep doing, and what you need to start or begin to do. There was a time I was driving my car, and for weeks on ending, I kept hearing this very funny sound in my engine. And I called my mechanic to come check it. Guess what? He was trying to use his whole, I've been in this business for too long not to know exactly that this is the problem just by listening to the sound. You know how all these mechanics try to always want to form James Bond, on these matters. And then it took me through a very painful 2 week period of my life. We kept experimenting, we kept wasting money, time, resources. I was frustrated until I said, you know what, guy, let's do this check engine thing, and he did it. And it was brought to the fore exactly all the problems, that a car was facing at that time. And guess what? We just tackled it by going straight to where the problem is or was and giving the right solution. And in less than 3 days, my car was back to normal. Just that simple. And this is the same thing that a lot of young professionals do for themselves. All right. They say, I've been in the game for this long, or I listen to this person that has been in the game for this long, not realizing that your career realities is you and you alone. You are the one facing it. You are the one that knows exactly where the shoe hurts. Nobody knows exactly what you're going through. All right. So it's necessary to sit down, do a proper evaluation, a proper check on yourself and know exactly what the problem is. And when doing a proper check on yourself, the whole motive is for you to gain what? Career what? Success. You need to know that your reward, your satisfaction, and your peak performance will come only when three things happen to you. The first is you need to meet a need. Just basic job descriptions. Sometimes some of us tweak a lot of our resumes just to be accepted. We paint the pictures that we want the employers to see that we are not. And at the end of the day, we get frustrated. So do you really meet that need? If you don't meet that need, it's just a matter of time, guys, that you'll be found out. And then the frustration begins to set in. So you need to do a proper evaluation on yourself. All right. The second thing you need to ask yourself is, can you solve a need? There's a partner's reward mentality here. You are not put on a job only to be paid a salary. You're put on a job to create a solution. All right. So a lot of us, most often, the young professionals, we get it wrong at this stage because all that we have at the back of our minds is to what? Sit with our job descriptions. This is what I've been asked to do. This is what I've been paid to do. This is what my 9 to 5 entails. And I've done it and I get paid and I go. It's a salary to slavery syndrome, guys. It's a salary to slavery syndrome. You need to break out of it because you need to step out of the box, out of the picture, begin to see yourself as a partner, and then you begin to cite opportunities to create a solution for the problems that your organization or your space might be going through. The third thing is that particular job or career, must definitely be meeting your dominant needs, or you need to tie the success of your career to a dominant need. And I will explain that in a bit. What is a dominant need? The dominant need is that major need that consumes your mind at a particular point in time. In fact, Maslow couldn't have explained it any better when he said that a certain need dominates the human organism, and humans are compelled to relatively fulfill basic needs before pursuing satisfaction on a higher level. So you want to perform at your peak, right? Peak performance is growth motivated, and growth and motivation are tied to a dominant need. Now, your dominant need varies, guys, and it varies per time, per cycle, per phase, per stage of your life. That sometimes it's just common physiological needs. But some other people, it's safety needs. For some other people, it's the love and belongings needs. For some others, it's the esteem needs. For some other people, it's a self-actualization need. We have this dominant need at different levels of our lives. But guess what? It's either that career is meeting or fueling that dominant need for you to, perform at your peak, or you need to tie that career to a dominant need to give it your best. So I'll give you a clear example. If your dominant need is to have your basic needs being met, like food, water, and clothing, shelter, and all of that, guess what? If your current career, your current job or profession is not giving you that, you cannot aspire for anything greater than that. Because your mind is dominated by that, you cannot progress. So you can see that these are the things that either hinder you from being successful career-wise, or these are things that can motivate you and create a catalyst to push you to the next level. So A career diagnosis is so important, my friend. Now, here lies the danger, okay? For those that don't like or are not big on career diagnosis, doing a career evaluation of themselves, this is what happens. You will make more wrong career decisions. So whether you're trying to, shift careers, switch between careers, switch between jobs, pick up a new job, aspire to work in a particular organization, you will keep making wrong decisions, wrong career decisions, because not everything that glitters is gold. And not everything that is good for eating or good for you. Do you understand that? So due to lack of, critical decision making, you would always make wrong career decisions. Another thing is you would always self-administer solutions based on assumptions. Remember the mechanic story I just told you? Aha. For 2 weeks, we kept what? Self-administering solutions. For 2 weeks. Wasting time, wasting resources. And this is what young career professionals do as well. They keep accumulating unnecessary trainings, programs, certifications that they have not even validated. Now, because the certification is a good certification does not mean it is good for you at this time, and does not mean that it's even good for you at all. What is good for the goose, it might not necessarily be good for the gander. So you need to understand what works for you. It's so clear, and you can't tell until you're able to do a proper career diagnosis. Another thing, and it's a danger zone a lot of career young professionals get into, is that there will be more wasted time, energy, resources. This is what I even say. A lot of young career professionals have wasted so much energy, so much money and resources on a lot of certifications, a lot of programs, working for some kind of organizations that they don't even have enough to give, when it comes to now finding out the real thing they should be doing with their lives. So they've spent a whole lot on things that didn't matter. And now when they found out exactly what needs attention or what matters most, they're spent. They don't even have an ounce of extra energy to give that push again. They need to go and regenerate it to give it another go. And this is what happens to a lot of young professionals. There's this uncertainty that would always lead to more confusion if you don't do a proper career evaluation or diagnosis. You will just remain confused over time. And of course, there will be loss of motivation, which is why you feel the way you feel right now. And it can eventually lead to depression. We have a lot of young professionals that are very depressed at their jobs right now because they are married to a job that they do not like, not having a proper career diagnosis, a career assessment, a career evaluation. It's called the gestation process of your life. This is what you need to get right every time you need to make that major career decision. Now, why do people shy away from coming up with, or doing a career diagnosis? Why do people just shy away from it? Why do people do not take this seriously? It's because they are stuck with this comfort zone syndrome. You know how it is when, the song by Fela, Suffering and Smiling, which is sadly the typical Nigerian, story, is that a lot of people, have found comfort in suffering, comfort in struggling. People get stuck, with that comfort zone syndrome. They are struggling, they are frustrated, they are unhappy, but they're just like, what? Let me just stay here. And that's not the right place to be. Comfort zone syndrome is a dangerous place to be. It's a place that could destroy you forever. It's a place that will never make you attain what you truly can attain in life. A lot of times they struggle with coming to terms with their current career realities. The moment they do the career diagnosis, okay, and they know exactly that this is their current career realities, a lot of times young professionals don't want to come to terms with it. Some career realities are so spot on, they tell you the truth of what you need to do, but you're like, no way, I'm not doing this. That's what the career assessment does. So a lot of people shy away from it because they don't want to come to terms with it. The application of that truth that will set you free. There's the fear of taking the bold step due to the fear of the unknown. So now they've accepted the career realities, and based on the assessment and diagnosis, it says that they need to do ABC. For some other people, it's taking that bold step that, what if I take step A? Where will it land me? Where will I get to? What will it do for me? And the fear of the unknown is the fear that has held many back from achieving the career dreams that they've always desired. Remember the quote I gave in the very beginning, at the very beginning, and I said, at the end of our lives, we do not regret the things at which we did and failed at, but the things that we wish we had done, but we never did. So that's it. You need to be bold as a lion. It's just like the great book that says that it's only a fool that would say that there's a lion in the street and would not make a move. It's one of my favorite parts, in the book of Proverbs, because you need to take bold steps more often than not, calculated, bold steps to take you to your desired destination. Now, a lot of people shy away from doing a proper career analysis and diagnosis because they lack the proper knowledge and understanding of how to go about doing a proper diagnosis. It reduces your risk errors, in making career decisions. And these are the merits of, making that career diagnosis. When you become self-aware, 50% of your challenges are solved. And that's the advantage of going through a proper career gestation process. You will become more aware of what has hindered you for too long. A lot of people are not happy with their careers and they don't know what is wrong. You have not done a proper career diagnosis. You've not gone through a career gestation process to check your career growth, to evaluate your career growth, to know exactly what is wrong. It's just like you sitting back at home because you have a headache and you're just saying, I have a headache. The headache is not the problem. The headache is indicative of something that you need to actually diagnose and check. So until you get to a doctor, who runs a proper test on you and tells you that these are the evaluations, these are, the assessments that we've done, and this is the problem. Then you now begin to know exactly why you've been having the headache and what you need to do to stop the headache. It's just that simple. The advantage and merit of a proper career diagnosis is that you'll become more spot on and more decisive, more assertive about your career. There is nothing as good as always being almost spot on with your decision. You might not know what you want from life, but I always tell people that you must know what you don't want from life. And the proper career diagnosis helps you to be spot on, extra clear of what you don't want from life, which is a very clear step, a good step towards now knowing what you want or what you should be desiring in life. And of course, the journey to self-discovery would have truly begun. Self-discovery is coming to terms with the you that you are yet to become. And that's what it does for you. Now, I've worked with some clients in the past, and I want to tell you exactly, what their stories were as regards taking them through a proper gestation, career growth process. And this is someone, Femi Samuel, a banker. It says, I realized I needed to define and structure how I wanted my life to be because I wasn't pumped to get out in the morning to go to work. My reality as a core 9 to 5 did not bring me the joy of fulfillment I desired. What I want is to discover clearly what path to thread and how to go about life by achieving impact in people's lives and solving problems that affect people's quality of life positively. So you can see that having gone through the assessment with me, it finally came to terms with what the problem was and what the desire at the end of the day was as well. Okay, so that's what an assessment does for you. It tells you what the problem is, what has hindered you. It also tells you and reveals to you what can be the catalyst to get you to the next level. All right, this is Omolade. She's a media enthusiast, and she said, my whole life has been guesswork. All my focus has been centered on a job hunt or on job hunting, as long as it made me feel like I was doing something and meeting my needs. The discomfort I presently feel is a result of desiring more because I believe there is more to me than this. The only challenge is that I am not absolutely sure that I know who I am and what I am capable of doing. So for Omolade, for example, it was a thing of self-discovery was the major problem. Okay, knowing exactly who she was, what she was capable of, what she was passionate about, and what she could now begin to pursue. So that's another advantage of going through a proper career self-assessment or career diagnosis, which is what I call your career gestation stage. So what next? It's one thing to be awakened and be self-aware of your current career realities, but the journey to self-discovery is the major next step. That's the next phase. How do you gain career clarity? So The next stage and the next step in the blueprint is the affirmation stage. What did I call it, guys? The affirmation stage. Now, you need to affirm who you are. You need to undergo a personal assessment of yourself to validate your ideal career path and define your career purpose statement. This is the light bulb experience of many career professionals. It makes a whole lot of difference. A lot of them have not gone through this, and they cannot have that sense of belonging, that sense of fulfillment or actualization as regards their career. The self-discovery is the next step, guys. It's what will make you begin to actualize your dreams and have that fulfillment from actualizing your dreams. This personal affirmation process would help with an assessment of your personalities, your potentials, your passion, and your principles. Just like I mentioned earlier, John Holland, one of the American psychologists, it says our career success is an expression of our personalities. Our career success is an expression of our what? Our personalities. So getting to know who you are, what you're capable of doing, what you're passionate about, what you stand for, what your principles are, could be the saving grace that takes you to your next level. At the end of the day, you'll be able to create a career pathfinder and validate it, and then come up with your career purpose statement design. So let me take you through that. The question is, how valuable are you? Before you can be clear on the right career, you must first learn about yourself. Before you can tell what you can offer, you need to know who you are. Most of the times when you get into a job interview and you sit at the panel, what happens? Tell us about yourself. That's the first thing. Nobody's asking you to tell me their names or tell them their names or their age or anything. No, that's a wrong approach. That's a wrong perspective. They have your resume right in front of them. So why would they be asking you for the questions or answers to something that they already have in front of them? Absolutely wrong. You need to know who you are. So when they ask you, tell us about yourself, they want to know exactly if you know yourself well enough. You're sure of your personalities. You're sure of your potentials. You're sure of what you're passionate about. And you're sure of your values, your principles, what you stand for. What is your worth? So some professions are a good fit for you and others completely inappropriate, which is why there is a need to assess your personality, talking about your behavior, your potentials, talking about your skills, your passion, talking about your interest, and your principles, talking about your core values. Now let's start from the personality evaluation. The personality evaluation asks one question: who are you? There's a personality job fit theory that postulates that a person's personality traits will reveal insights as to the adaptability within a working environment. I hope you caught that, guys. So this is why when you're asked at that interview panel, tell us about yourself, they want to know, they want to have an insight as to the adaptability within a working environment. You are a unique being. So assessing and affirming your personality type will give you valuable information about yourself. How well do you know yourself? It will help you recognize how to lead, how to influence, how to communicate, how to collaborate, how to negotiate, and how to manage things around you, how to manage people, how to manage resources. Your personality would help create an avenue for personal development and identifying growth areas. It's so key. There are a number of ways to identify your personality. Nobody can tell you who you are more than you know yourself. I hope you know that, which is why it is called self-discovery. Self-discovery, not somebody's discovery. It's your self-discovery. So you need to go through a proper personality evaluation test. Find out exactly about yourself. And there are dozens and dozens, loads and loads of these that you can get online on how to find yourself, on how to know yourself better, on how to know what your core traits are, on how to know why you act the way you do. Very, very important. The next thing you need to evaluate is your potential. And potential answers the question, what can you offer? And that's the same question that they always tend to ask at an interview when you're about to get that job. These are questions that you can't run away from. On that panel, they would ask you, So what can you offer us? What can you do for us? Do you know what they're asking? They want to know the value you bring to the table. They want to know your potentials. This refers to your abilities to perform at certain desirable levels. You need to sell yourself at this stage. These may be naturally acquired skills, talents, abilities, or things that you obtained through trainings or even education. The potential of an individual is measured by a method that we call the potential analysis that assesses your abilities and skills and whether or not you have the ability to develop those skills even further. Now, human potential is a measurable entity. This is why it can be measured through things like intelligence, performance, social interactions, emotions, situations analyses, soft and hard skills evaluation, and a whole lot more. So if you want to find out what your potential is, you need to test your potentials, in level of intelligence. And all of these also depends on what the job demands, what your career demands. To what proportion is the intelligence needed compared to performance, compared to social interactions, compared to emotions in terms of stability, compared to situations analysis, compared to what your soft and hard skills are in terms of you evaluating it. So they might need some level of intelligence to some level of percentage. Let's say if this intelligence level is about 20%, we're good with it. We want this performance level to be as high as 40%. And social interactions to be another maybe 20%. It depends on what the job demands. So what can you offer? Your personality expresses your value. We can tell how valuable you are. But guess what? Your potential is what places a price tag. So when you're there, at the job interview and they begin to see what your potentials are from what you're saying or what you're doing or how you're doing things, they know what your price tag should be. They know if they're overpaying you or they're underpaying you or they're equally paying you as well as they should. People are highly rewarded for what they can offer, not what they are paid to do. It's very simple. Potential analysis is very key. Then, of course, you need to evaluate your passion, your interests. What can't you do without is a big question. You see, being excited about your Mondays, the way many people are thrilled about their Fridays, can be the big difference between enjoying that job or struggling with it. So what can't you do without is a way to find out what you're passionate about. An Indeed survey, and Indeed is one of the biggest, arguably the biggest, job search sites, for a lot of young professionals. It states that 60% of employers believe that a lack of passion is a reason for underperformance. But guess what? 76% of employers don't believe that passion can be learned. It means it has to be inbuilt. So without heart or drive, you will never reach your potential. When you find something that you're passionate about or you're skilled in, find a way to fit it into your career or fit your career into it, whichever ways, because the passion is that energizer, is the fire. It's the burning flames that you need to take it to the next level. So in trying to identify your passion, there are questions you need to ask yourself. What are you interested in? Things that catches your fancy, things that you really admire. What do you enjoy being involved in? Things that when they call you today, let's get to do this, you're one of the first set of people to get on board. Your involvement rate, your engagement rate on that thing is high. It tells me that you're passionate about that thing. And what are you most invested in? What would you lose sleep for? What would you spend your last dime on? What would you sacrifice food for? Do you understand it? These are things that would tell you what you're passionate about. And we're getting somewhere, guys. Just stay with me. The last one of the 4 P's that you need to evaluate is your principles, your core values. It's so important, okay? It answers the question, one question, what matters most to you? It's so important. What matters most to you? Values are standards that govern your behavior. If you want to know why someone is acting the way they do, if you want to know why they behave the way they behave, if you want to know why they say things so often, it's because of what their values are. It's what matters most to them. It's what governs their lives. It's what governs their behaviors. But principles are rules or beliefs that govern your actions. Do you understand? You get to a workplace and you see a guy who would never be seated when a lady is standing. It's because maybe he has a belief system that, you never sit where a lady stands. It's just that simple. So it governs his actions, it governs his behavior. There's some people that will tell you in the workplace that as long as it has to do with personal things, I don't use company materials, company resources to foot personal bills. I don't do it. It's a value proposition from where the belief system they developed over the years. While there's some other people that don't even think it's wrong. Some people would tell you that I work for the company, so why can't I, use their paper, their A4 paper, to do other things. While some other people would tell you, if I need to print anything at all, I should print it elsewhere. So values play an important role in shaping how you respond to situations and how you set your goals. Values create a framework that governs your personality, your potentials, and your passion, and a foundation that it creates for them to function effectively. Values answer the question, what matters most to me? So you need to find out. For some people, it's being responsible that matters most to them. That's why they would never get to a traffic light and break it, because they feel it's an act of irresponsibility. They will never toss something out of their car windows because they feel it's an act of irresponsibility. They would never print, personal things using the companies because they just feel it's an act of irresponsibility. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to use all the information you've gathered to create, a path, a career path for yourself. And there is one thing I work with when it comes to creating a career path for yourself. It's called the Triple H Career Path Validator. That means your head, your heart, and your hands must be in sync to create your best possible career path. What do I mean by that? Your head talks about things that you represent, your personality, your traits and your types, which is what we discussed earlier. Your heart talks about what? The things that you are very, very passionate about, you're interested in, you're invested in. While your hands refer to your potentials, your skills, your talents, your gifts. So by the time you combine all of this and they are validated by your values, your core values, you will be able to create your career path. This is what I call the career path finder. So with this, you can map out your most ideal career path performing at your peak. People who map out their career paths using these elements perform at their peak. But the big question most of the time is getting it right with their personality types and traits, getting it right with the elements of their hearts that's talking about their passions and interests, getting it right with their hands in terms of their potentials, their skills and talents, and then validating it properly on their core values. When they do it right, they would have mapped out their career path. So the next phase will be to develop a career purpose statement to help with effective goal setting. You create a career path for yourself through the elements, and then you map out this career path with the Triple H validator, and then of course create your own career purpose statement. And that career purpose statement is based on your personality types and traits and the values, your core values, your principles of things that you stand for, so that you are best able to deploy your core abilities or potentials in industries and career interest paths that promote a certain cause that you are most passionate about. Does that make sense? Now, this is where a lot of career professionals get it all wrong. When they do not validate or affirm who they are, what they're able to do, what they're passionate about, what they truly stand for. Setting goals prior to all of these things we just discussed is a pure waste of time. A lot of young professionals say they're setting goals, and I'm always wondering, what goals are you setting? Whose goals are you setting? Oh, Deji is at work and he has a goal to want to do his icon, and you believe because you also are in the accounts department, you just feel that if Deji is doing an icon, I should also make that my goal as well. Very wrong. Because even Deji may not know who he is, and if that's even the right thing he should do with his life. So it becomes you copy and pasting someone that is even confused, and that becomes two what? Confused people. You need to set goals only after you have validated who you are, what your potentials are, what you're passionate about, and ultimately what your core values are. At that point is when your goals begin to make sense. At that point, you begin to set goals that are what? Fabricated to your own person, designed and tailor suited for you. Stop setting other people's goals and calling it your goals. But I don't blame you. You're setting other people's goals because you don't even know who you are. You don't even know what you're passionate about. You don't know what your principles are. You don't even know what your potentials are. Stop seeking external validations or building a future on external validations, because you can sink. You can sink. You're building your future on external validations that are not well defined on proper foundations. You would sink if you're not careful. In fact, even if they are right, because you have not validated it for yourself, you don't have the wherewithal, you don't have the desire, you don't have the doggedness to see through. All you need to shake you off is a little challenge, a little setback, and you begin to even doubt what they have said. Another mistake is that not knowing your true nature, that means your personalities and your capabilities, will only make you constantly unhappy. It will make you unfulfilled. It will make you unsatisfied. I love exactly what Maslow and how he puts it. He says, what a man can be, he must be. What a man can be, he must be. And if he doesn't be that he can be, he will be frustrated. The human body is like a machine. And just like every other kind of machine, a machine only attains its full potential with the right use and with constant use rather than misuse, abuse, or idleness. So if you're a machine, just the way human bodies are built like a machine, because a machine is what? A system of operation. Your body is a system of operation. So the human being has been built like a machine. And as a machine, you will never obtain full potential if you're not put in use. And our machines differ. My machine, that's my body, is different from your body. So the attainment of my potential is different from the attainment of your potential. So what and how I need to put my own body, my own machine to use is different from how you need to put your own body and your own machine to use. So this is why you need your own internal validation, all right? And allow external validations to bear witness to it. Another error, that young professionals embark on and where they get it wrong is that they do not know that organizations and people, need to be compatible. A lot of people are working with wrong organizations, and a lot of organizations have employed wrong people, because every organization has its objectives, has its own, mission statement, its own purpose statement. If you're not the kind of person that needs to be a part of that system, that culture, there's some people that can never work in some organizations. It's not a curse. It's because they are not the perfect fit for those organizations. That's what we call the PE and the PO fit. That's the person to organization fit, or the person to environment fit. If you don't fit into it, you'll be like a square peg in a round hole. Now, here is the danger when you don't embark on a proper affirmation of yourself, of your personalities, your potentials, your principles, your passions, and all. You would not work at your peak. And peak performance is a state in which you perform to the maximum of your abilities. And this is characterized by subjective feelings of confidence, effortlessness, and total concentration on the task that help produce results. So not assessing or affirming who you are will lead to low confidence, because you don't know your personality types or traits. A man that does not know himself, will be insecure of himself. That's why we hear that quote, man, know thyself. You would struggle with your career because you've not done a proper potential assessment. You don't know exactly what you can give. You don't know what to offer. You would lack, concentration and focus on that job and that profession, because you don't even know what you're passionate about. You've not done a proper passion assessment of yourself. And then finally, you will give no meaningful results. There will be nothing to show for it at the end of the day. Why? Because you don't even know what you stand for. You've not done a proper values assessment, a principles assessment of yourself. Now, a lot of people shy away from doing this, assessment, talking about the affirmation assessment of themselves, because they assume that they know themselves well enough. And most of the time they don't, sadly. That's the sad truth. Some people would have told, I thought I knew myself. But you assumed. You need to go through the proper assessment. Do it with a professional. Just ensure that you do it right so that you stop leaving out assumptions. For most people, they are comfortable with external validations. They hold people's perception of themselves in higher esteem than themselves, forgetting that no one can know, them as much as they will know themselves. That's what most of you do. So you rather wait for the validation from a boss, from your parent, a senior colleague, whatever, and that's what you want to run with. For some of them, they don't even know themselves well enough, and they're telling who you are. Let them bear witness to the you that you've found yourself to be. Just that simple. And of course, there's a lack of proper knowledge and the understanding of how to conduct an effective assessment. And this is what you need a professional to put you through, because the merits abound. Because choosing the right career, profession, or job is arguably one of the most important decisions that you would ever make, and you would always continue to make. When you know you're on the right job, doing the right things, you will perform better. You have better satisfaction. You're more motivated. You have better job engagement, and you become more innovative, because when you have your needs being met, you aspire and desire for a higher level. And because of that, your mind is open, and you begin to see opportunities where confusion would readily not make you find them. And then you'll be able to find meaning and purpose with your life. This is what a career blueprint coaching client, once said when we worked together. I'm talking about a journey to self-discovery for Femi Samuel. It says the career blueprint coaching has been very intentional, practical, and well packaged. With every coaching call, I am able to realize more about myself and my potentials. I discovered and unveiled a new part of me that I had not paid attention to. The depth of Mr. Wise's experience is astonishing, and one could assume that he is a prophet. So what next? What's the next thing after a self-affirmation process has been done? After you found out exactly who you are, what you're able to do, what is the next thing? Now that you have some form of clarity about what your possible and best career paths should be, you've mapped it out, you've seen that, because there is no one career path for every human. That's one thing you must know, guys. There is no one career path for you. So at the end of the day, you've only been able to identify your possible career paths, where you will best function and most function effectively in, if you were to consider them. And then you've created a career purpose statement that will keep guiding you and along the way, and to develop the mindset that you can actualize them. So it's a question of, what do you see at the end of the day, and how much do you believe it can happen, which is the next thing we need to get involved in, to define in clear terms what your vision and goals, career goals and vision should be, so that you can develop a mindset that will make you actualize them. That is the third step of the blueprint to your career clarity and success, the motivation stage. It's at this stage that you will develop the right vision, the energy, the mindset towards peak performance and self-actualization through effective goal setting. It's a mind work here. Now, motivation is a combination of motives, that's whys, and actions, steps, which would help to provide the right and positive energy that you require to fuel your emotions. So in this stage, or at this stage, you'll be able to identify the big picture, and you will learn the art and the science of goal settings. Now, where do career professionals get it wrong? They take life as it comes. They lack the sense of intentionality with their career. If you ask an average, young professional out there at his desk, okay, so what's the plan? What's the plan for the next 2 months? What's the plan for the next, 2 weeks? What's the plan for the next 1 year? They're totally aloof. They don't even know, waiting for life to throw them things. When we live with such mindset, it's a very dangerous way to live. You would hear your bosses, you would hear visionaries say things like, I want to be able to obtain a master's in the next 2 years. And you feel as if they're just giving a figure to it. No, they've walked through it in their minds, in their heads. They know exactly what they need to do. They've set the goals, scientifically, and they've created the art behind it to make sure that it works. So taking life as it comes, the big mistake that a lot of young professionals have. They just say, we'll do it, yeah. When we get to that road, we'll cross it. Dangerous way to live. Then, of course, they move with this bandwagon mentality, and they're not sure of what they even really want. As long as 2 or 3, 4 colleagues are doing a certification course and they're in the same department, they feel that's the next thing that is required for them to do. Sometimes taking a step that you're not supposed to take yet can take you miles backwards than you thought would take you forward. So stop moving with a bandwagon, mentality. Stop saying people are doing this profession. People are, applying for this job. This is the next thing that everybody is doing. I know IT is the next thing, but you need to find your space even in that IT world, because you're not going to jump into a space because Deji is there or Dupe is there or Tokwe is there. No, stop going with the bandwagon mentality. Now, some have goals, but they haven't validated it. Sometimes you think you know what you want, only to have it and realize that was not what you wanted. Aha, has that happened to you many times? It's because what you thought you wanted, you never validated that you wanted it, but went after it, only to acquire and realize that you didn't want it and you didn't need it. So some of you always assume you know what you want, you never validate it, and then you go for it, waste time, energy, resources, and at the end of the day, you just realize that it was not the way to go. Another wrong thing young professionals do is that when they know what they want, they don't create a system to actualize it. Goal setting requires a system. Goals do not achieve themselves. I hope somebody's listening to me right now. What do you have at stake to back up that desire? Goals do not achieve themselves. Let me give you a clear example. So you set goals, for example, that you want to be taking water, a cup of water first thing in the morning because you hear that it's healthy. It helps with the body metabolism and all of that. Fantastic, okay? But guess what? If you don't set a system in place to achieve that goal will not achieve itself. You will not just find water in your mouth all of a sudden when you wake up in the morning or a cup filled with water. It will never happen. So for me, for example, this is one of the things I had to do to be able to actualize and effectualize that goal. I would put a cup of water such that the moment I wake up in the morning, I would actualize that goal because there's a cup of water already waiting for me that I would what? Just pick it up and drink it. When you don't set a system in place, the goals will be far-fetched. Because the moment I get up from that bed, there are other things that will what? Take up my day. Before I will now remember that I want to take a cup of water, I probably would have done one thing, two things, three things, and that's it. It's gone. But the moment I've created a system to make it work, then the actualization of it becomes a lot easier. Goals don't achieve themselves. So I don't care what goal that you've actually set up for your career. If you don't put a system in place, then you will not achieve it. And that's the reason why you're not achieving your goals. No rocket science. It's not that those that are setting goals are 10 times better than you are. It's because they found a system to always actualize that thing. I'm sure you've heard about that saying, I think it's John Maxwell, yes, that said, if you want to have life success, which also can play out with your career, then you must stop doing one thing that you do daily and start doing something that you have never been doing before. Just that simple. That's paraphrasing now. Another thing that would help you achieve your goals most often than not is to have a stake to that goal. What is at stake? For example, if you set a goal that you want to save 10,000 naira every month, if it's just a goal, just like that, without anything at stake attached to it, trust me, you will not attain that goal. But if you set up a system of putting something at stake to it, to say to yourself, if I don't set this 10,000 naira aside every month, I won't be able to pay electricity bills or internet bills or whatever bills. Meaning, if I don't do it, then there's no internet. If I don't do it, there is no satellite TV. If I don't do it, there is no data or whatever it is. If there is nothing at stake, that goal will not be effectualized or actualized. It's just that simple. So this is what we refer to as the art and the science of goal setting. The science of goal setting is knowing what to do, and the art is knowing how to do it. And that makes the difference between you and people who achieve their goals. They're just human beings like you are, but they've been able to craft out, design a system that works, and they've been able to put a stake to things to make it work. Now, here lies the danger when you don't have the desired motivation. Because goals create this motivation for you. When you set proper goals, a big picture, of what you want for your career. I haven't set out what? Your career path and said, okay, these are the possible career paths, right? I could be a teacher, lecturer in a university. I could be speaking on radio, or I could be a motivational speaker or a coach and all. Okay, but this is exactly what I truly want for myself. Out of all these possible great career paths, but this is probably the one that will give me the most fulfillment that I've always desired. Then you pick that. Then you now create a picture of what you want in that line of career. Then you now create a picture of what you want in that line of career. When there is no clear goal in mind, when there is no picture, it will be just like that statement that one of my mentors, would always say. There is nothing to live for when there is nothing to die for. If you don't have a clear goal in mind, there is no motivation. You live by the flow and no destination in mind. You just follow the winds, tossed to and fro, easily influenced. You live recklessly without priorities. You lack focus. You get easily distracted, manipulated by any other person's success. Oh, he's bought a car, he's bought a house, and you just feel as if, oh my goodness, I'm not doing anything right. But if you stay true to your goal and you stay focused, you know exactly what you should be doing. If you don't have any goal, a clear goal in mind, you will burn out. You'll burn out of activities and have nothing to show for it. You know that treadmill effect where you're exercising, you're in one spot, but you think you're moving? That's exactly how you begin to feel. Your productivity level will keep dropping because there is no energy, there's no motivation, there's no drive, there's nothing that is sustaining you, to keep giving it. But the moment you keep having that picture of the kind of career you want, guess what? It keeps you being awakened to what you need to be doing and achieving with your life. If you don't have a clear goal in mind, you would have slow results due to lack of urgency. Procrastination will set in more often than not. But when you have a clear goal in mind, there's the excitement to always want to make things happen. So why don't people have well-defined outcomes and set goals in the first place? Well, there are many reasons. I found out that they believe goal setting doesn't work, or particularly doesn't even work for them, but they think it works for some other kind of people. Well, I'm sure you've learned it today that it works for everybody is because you don't even know the system, the art and science. There's nothing at stake. That's why you're not achieving or actualizing your goals. They don't understand the art and science behind effective goal settings. They lack the power to visualize. They can't see things, and they are scared of failure more often than not. They forget that failure is part of the journey, to self-actualization. In fact, why do people say they have failed? Anybody that does not have a goal in mind cannot say they have failed. It's when there is a goal in mind, an end or destination in mind, when it's not attained, that you begin to talk about failure of not actualizing something. Failure is part of the game. Failure serves as benchmarks for you to know exactly what you need to do better. So you see, my friend, staying with the big picture and having a clear goal in mind keeps you motivated and engaged. The reason why you feel, burnt out in your career, your profession, is because there is no big picture. There is nothing that keeps you fueled, that fuels your motivation, that keeps you energized, that keeps you going. There is no excitement to look forward to. When you have well-defined outcomes, when you have a big picture, it gives you a clear sense of direction and purpose in life. There is also clarity in decision making when you have this overall, well-defined outcome due to the ability to be able to prioritize. It also gives you control over your future, higher productivity levels and performance levels because you are very motivated. Every time you see that big picture, every time you put it right before your very face, your productivity level to aspire to become that, to succeed, goes a notch higher. Your performance level just keeps increasing because there's something to work for. There is something to live for because you've decided that there's something to die for. Of course, motivation keeps you going against all odds, and confidence grows whenever you achieve milestones. It's so simple. Every time you say to yourself that I want to be able to achieve this, that, and that, the moment you achieve this, it increases your energy because you've achieved the milestone. Then you aim for that, and then you achieve that, and then you aim for the other, and then you try to achieve. Because there is something to keep aiming for, and you keep achieving milestones before that, it increases your energy,
it increases your drive, and you keep giving life a go. And of course, it serves as a benchmark for proper evaluation. You can tell exactly how well you've done. You can tell exactly what else is left to be done. You can tell exactly, how far you've come. And that's the beauty about this. Now, a career blueprint coaching client, with a well-defined outcome in the person of Aramide, a certified caregiver, says, the CPC program was what I needed to understand why I was frustrated at a job that I had spent over a decade on. Switching from one career to the other was a big decision to be made after so many years. But I guess having well-defined outcomes made the process seamless and possible. And now I am beginning to feel some form of fulfillment by following through with my plans. This is what it does for you. So having defined, the end product in mind, the big question is, what next? Now I have a goal in mind. Now I know exactly what I want to attain. Now I know exactly the picture, I'm trying to paint. But what next? Knowing what you want is one thing. Creating the plan to achieving it is the next step. That's the next step. It's one thing to know exactly what you want, but of course, what ladders do I need to create to be able to attain that fit? What steps do I need to take to be able to make that happen? What strategies do I need to put in place to be able to make things work? And that's the place of proper execution. Execution will help you to know what your first step is and what the subsequent next steps will be. So you don't put the cart before the horse. All right. And that takes us to the next step, the fourth stage, the fourth step of the blueprint program. And that's the execution stage. This is the part where you design a unique and executable career plan. What did I say, guys? Executable. That means it has to be very realistic, measurable. It has to be, time bound. It has to be something that keeps you on the go. Your energy is a renewable source, but your time, on the other hand, is not. This is why it's so imperative to manage your energy and then protect your time. You manage your energy because you need to keep giving life a go. And then, of course, you protect your time so that you have ample time to be able to take advantage of lost times. And the way to make this happen is by creating a clear plan. When you strategize, when you plan things out, 9 out of 10 times you feel confident that you can see through, even if you don't completely see through. When you fail to plan, then you've ultimately set yourself up to plan to fail. It's just that simple. Self-fulfillment comes with a proper execution of your goals and your plans. And the challenge most times comes from identifying what is that first step I need to take. And then, of course, what are the next steps that must follow? Brian Tracy puts it perfectly. He says we must identify that next one important thing to take you to the next level. You must identify what is that next thing, that one important next thing that you need to do to take you to that next level. And of course, in moving from point A to point B, there are elements that you need to put into consideration that will convey you, that will serve as a conveyance boat that takes you from one point to the other. Elements such as people, elements such as places, elements such as things, whatever it might be. These are the parts and the places where you begin to highlight exactly what you need to take you from point A to point B. Highlight exactly the elements, the materials that will serve as your bridge builder that takes you from one point to the next. But this is where career professionals get it all wrong. They most often wait till they get to that bridge before strategizing on how to cross it. It's a very wrong approach to life. The first thing you need to always do is to plan ahead. The great book puts it this way. When a man must embark on a journey, he must first what? Consider the cost. That's the wise way to approach life. Before you embark on a trip, before you embark on a journey, you have to sit down, you have to analyze, you have to strategize, and then, of course, you have to count your costs before you embark on that journey. A good number of times, career professionals get it wrong because they aren't sure what career options are even available and even remain stuck in this particular point, such that they are not able to make progress with their life. They often take the convenient and available option, and then they shortchange themselves. Because you did not plan ahead and you get to the bridge before crossing it or thinking of how you will cross it, then you begin to settle for less. You begin to, look for shortcuts. You begin to think about how you can just, make things happen as fast as you can. It becomes decision made out of the heat of the moment. And most of the times, when erratic decisions are made, they become regrettable eventually. So you need to always think about things ahead of time so you don't shortchange yourself. And of course, another thing and the error that they make, young professionals give up easily on their goals. Why? Because they tried the first time, they tried the second time, they tried the third time. Maybe the fourth time is about to be the breaker of the ice. That's just simple. You know, you've probably heard about the analogy that you keep hitting a wall in a particular point continuously. After a while, that wall will give in because you've been consistent with it. So when you try the first time and you don't succeed, what do? You just try again. And you just keep trying until you're able to actually hit the gold mine. A good number of times, young professionals get it wrong because they always compare themselves with others. I'm sure you've heard it a number of times. Don't use another man's watch to run your race. All right, you can use them to inspire you, to encourage you and all that, but you don't use their race as a benchmark to run your own race and say, because they've done it this way, I must do it this way. You stop comparing yourselves with others. Your race is different. Your career path might be similar, but guess what? You are both unique individuals running individual races along your career path. And then, of course, most young professionals aren't ready for change at all. There's a difference between desire and burning desire. I don't know how to, blow this up beyond normal. There is a difference between desire and burning desire. Desire is what most people want. They just want to do this. They desire to have this. But burning desire is something that a few people only possess. That doggedness, the never say die attitude, that character that keeps them going, and they keep telling themselves, until I attain it, I'm not backing down. When there is no career execution plan, when you don't have an executable plan in place, not just any plan, but an executable plan, then there will be no clear sense of direction. I always ask most young professionals, where is your map? Where is your map? Because your executable plan is your map. Whenever you get lost in a place, the only way to get out of that place is to have a map that points you in the right direction. A map does two things. A map tells you exactly where you are. It gives you the orientation of where you are. And then, of course, the map will point you in the direction of where you want to go. And then it gives you landmarks, of things that you begin to notice, along the way that tells you that you're on the right track. Okay, so you need a map. An executable plan is your map. Most career professionals are confused. They're perplexed. They're disturbed. They worry a lot. They're depressed because they don't have a map. They don't have a career map, something to guide them along the way. The danger here is that there will be missed opportunities too as well. What happens when you have an executable plan is that a plan opens your eyes to see possible opportunities. Anybody that doesn't plan, anything appears as everything, and everything appears as anything. But when you have an executable plan, when you spot something that every other person sees as anything, you will see it as an opportunity to take you closer, or something that you need to run away from that might take you backwards. Do you understand it? The plan helps you to be able to see opportunities. It will help you to recognize one when you see it. And then, of course, another danger is that you leave many stones unturned with the hope of achieving them someday, but you never will. Now, I was stuck in this kind of mode for a long time where everything I wanted to do remained an idea in my head. I never took out time to strategically plan it through, to say to myself, this is what I needed to do. These are the steps I needed to take. And these are the action, steps that I needed to embark on. I never did. So every time it just was there in my head. All right. And it will remain there in my head until I have an executable plan. And the same applies to you. That's why you have many stones unturned. You said to yourself, I'm going to acquire this. You said to yourself, I'm going to do this concerning my career. But you've only told yourself, and you've not made any executable plan for you to push yourself through on it. And as long as it's something just right there in your head, it will just remain there as an unturned stone, and you will never build that castle. It's like, in fact, you have the castle up in the air, but not having a castle on the ground. And that's what most professionals have found themselves in. Another danger young professionals have to be wary of is that When you don't have an executable plan, you will waste resources, you will waste time, money, energy, you will even waste relationships. Because most times you will make, casual friends become like the major friends. You make major friends casual friends. You've missed your priorities because there's no executable plan. You don't even know who matters most. All right. You don't even know what matters most. When you have resources such as money, you don't even know exactly where to channel it for effectiveness to take you, to the next level. When you have ample time, you don't even know how to use it. You just keep wasting resources, wasting energy, wasting people, just wasting time and wasting everything because you don't have a career executable plan. And then, of course, you won't be able to evaluate how far and how well you've actually gone. You would accept anything as okay because there's no benchmark. Because when you have a career executable plan, you can tell, all right, this is where I am right now. This is what I need to do next. Okay, this is how far I have left to cover. And then when things come along the way, you know what matters and what is not important, so that you don't keep accepting anything as just okay. Now, this is exactly what a career blueprint might just look like, off my head. All right, something that just tells you where you need to start from, that keeps telling you exactly what the first step will be, and then what subsequent steps will be, what elements, are necessary under each of those steps, what you need to do first to take you to the next thing, and then, of course, the kind of things that you need to actually embark on, and all of that, until you get to your final destination. That's exactly what a blueprint looks like. Now, a lot of people shy away from creating this career blueprint, this executable design, because they wait on goals to achieve themselves. They believe that goals are not meant to be achieved, or can't be achieved. And I said it earlier before that goals respond to what? To a system, to a stake. If there is no system in place and there is no stake, then you won't achieve it because goals don't achieve themselves. They don't set up this kind of, design or plan, because they believe that when things are hard to achieve, then it was never meant to be. But when things come so easy, then it was meant to be. I wish life was like that, really, to be easily interpreted as that. Not at all. When things are hard, it might just mean that you're closer to your breakthrough. It's not every time that things are easy, that it means that, yes, that's the way to go. You can't have such a lazy mentality. You have to be very careful with your decision making. Another reason why people shy away from creating a blueprint is that they don't want to be held accountable. They dislike, timelines, the rigidity, accountability, and all of that. Okay, so imagine I'm working with a client and I'm saying, okay, so where is your career blueprint that we've worked on? And I say, so where are you right now? Okay, this means that in the next 2 weeks you must have done this and this and this, right? And then it means that every day you should have done 1, 2, 3, and 4 things, right? Okay, now for that kind of person, the client knows that I'm very much up their neck. I'm nosing around them. I want to find out exactly if they're pushing through on things. Right? A lot of people don't like to be supervised. A lot of people don't like to be pushed, so to speak. They get on the defensive the moment you're asking them, so what next? What do you need to be doing? What have you done so far? They just get on the defensive. And you can't make progress in life if you're not accountable to someone. If you're not accountable to a system, if you're not accountable to a person, if you're not accountable to yourself, you can't make progress in life. And another reason why they do not actually create, this blueprint design is because they lack the knowledge on how to design one, an effective one for that matter. A good number of times, if we do not design it properly, we would put the cart before the horse, and then we'll just have a merry-go-round of a journey, mess things up, only to return back to the drawing board to start all over again. But when you have this plan well executed, with possible, options of alternatives to say, okay, if this doesn't happen, then this will be my plan B and all of that. And plan B doesn't mean plan B of the ultimate goal. Because you must stay focused and see things through to the end. I mean, plan B of an alternative route to take to achieving that ultimate goal. So I don't talk about plan Bs of the ultimate goal, the big picture. The big picture has been set. That's what you want. So don't back down until you achieve it. But you should be able to have a flexibility in your plan, in your executable plan, of the routes to take, of the directions to take, of the people that might get you closer to it, just to achieve that ultimate goal that you have painted right from the very beginning. You see, my friend, life is an ocean with 3 kinds of people in it. And you need to find out exactly, where you are in this. For some, they are lost and in the middle of nowhere. For some other people, they are sailing to no end and without any direction. But for some other kinds of people, They are paddling their boats committedly, diligently to a desired destination. So who are you out of these categories of people, right? Because having a career blueprint, a proper executable plan would help you see through on your objectives. Your career objectives will be well spelled out and you'll be able to achieve your overall goal. Okay, it will just probably be a matter of time. And then, of course, you'll be able to allocate resources and manage resources effectively. Now, when money is around you or at your beck and call, you don't just spend the money anyhow anymore because there is a plan in place. You now begin to tell, okay, so this amount of money should be set aside for this because there is a plan. When there is no plan, you live your life recklessly. Okay, you just live your life recklessly. But you'll be able to, manage resources, allocate resources appropriately when you have a career blueprint plan. That's the advantage of that. And then, of course, career blueprints, help you to facilitate decision making easier. Now, decision making is one of the hardest things, to do when it comes to career professionals. And the ability to know exactly what to do, to be spot on, is something that is so hard. But guess what? When you have a career plan, it reduces your risk errors of decisions, of poor decision making. It reduces it to a great number of deals. It helps you facilitate decision making, helps you experience a bit of career fluidity and limited frictions around. I'm not saying you won't have setbacks. I'm not saying that some delays will not happen. It's just going to be limited, and then you know exactly what next to do. You know exactly what an alternative route you can take just to attain that overall goal. A career blueprint, would help you have better control and coordination of your career. You're just in charge. You're the boss. You feel good because you're in charge of your life. You are responsible for the outcomes of your life. And I've heard this many times that you're the author of your own book, of your own life. Start writing it. Okay? Start writing it. It feels good to be in control of your own life. It feels good to be in the driving seat of your own car to your life and not somebody else's controlling your life. And this is what having a proper plan would do for you. Are you tired, of having people direct you in your career and say, do this and do that? Are you tired? It's because you don't have an executable plan. And it's a long journey to bring you to this point. Remember the 4 steps? We're right on the 4th step right now. You must have embarked on the steps to get to this point and now become your own boss, to know what you want for your career and follow through on your career. And then, of course, an executable plan, a career blueprint, will help you have a realistic time frame for execution. You can tell yourself, in 2 weeks, I should have been able to do this. In 4 weeks, I should have been able to do this. In 6 weeks, I should have been able to do this. In the next 1 year or 2 years, I should have been able to attain this or that. You don't say it off your head because you wish for it. You're saying it because you put a plan in place, a system to help you achieve it. So the confidence in which you begin to say that I will attain my master's in the next 2 years is a lot different when you're wishing it. There's a difference between just that desire of wanting to have a master's, a desire to move 2 steps higher in your career or 3 steps higher. It moves from just a desire into a burning desire because you have an executable career plan that you have put in place. Okay, so let's recap on all that we've learned so far on the 4-step blueprints to career clarity, the GAME framework. So if you're new on the market space, if you're job hunting, if you're switching between careers, if you're in dire need of career clarity, if you're desirous of a highly rewarding and productive career, whichever category you fall under in what I've just highlighted, you need to understand that you must take yourself through these 4 stages when you have to make critical career decisions. First thing, remember, is to always create a career diagnosis, a career check. Don't jump into decision making. Don't assume. Don't self-administer solutions. Always create a diagnosis. Always create a check. Always evaluate things so that you know exactly what you need to stop doing, what you need to keep doing, and what you need to start doing. And remember, in the end, you are halfway to your desired outcome because you are self-aware of your current career realities. It takes 50% of the problem away. And of course, the diagnosis reveals what is holding you back and what a dominant need might be that you can tie your career to, to push your career to the next level. Of course, when you're able to create a proper assessment, remember that you become more decisive about your career, more assertive about your career, then the journey to self-discovery would have begun. And in trying to know yourself better, you need to go through the affirmation process. That's the second step. Always affirm who you are. Now, somebody's going to ask me, can I change? If I go through the affirmation process now, can I change in another 2 months and 3 months and 4 months or 5 years and all? This is what I tell people, that we are the products of our backgrounds, of our experiences, and a lot of things. So if those backgrounds, experiences, actions, and all of that change, repeatedly over the course of time, there's a possibility that you might not be the same person that you are anymore. A good number of people are not the same persons that they were 10 years back because their environments have changed. Their backgrounds, have been altered a little bit. Their perceptions, their values have been altered. Have been changed by some things. All right, so it's always good to always embark on an affirmation of yourself or reaffirmation of yourself periodically too as well. So affirm who you are. Find out exactly what your personality is, if it hasn't changed, as it were, what your potentials are, that you might just keep adding, to it. And then, of course, what you're passionate about, as well as what your values are, what you keep standing for. And this will always help you to put your career objective, your career purpose statement right before you. That keeps you, that guides you, that keeps you going, and of course, higher job satisfaction comes with this, higher motivation and job engagement comes with this. Then you're more innovative, greater innovation, because you know who you are, you know what you're capable of doing, you know what you stand for, and you know exactly how to embark on that career journey. And you're able to find meaning and purpose with your career and say that you have truly lived. With that, you always have to have an overall goal, a set goal in mind. What is that big picture? Remember, okay? You have to always rework your mindset. You have to always put the big picture right before your very eyes to keep your motivation level very high. Motivation is what keeps you going. Remember, you need to identify the picture and learn the art and the science of goal setting. This gives you a clearer sense of direction and purpose in life. The clarity of decision making will be there because you're able to prioritize brightly. And then it gives you control over your future. You're very productive. Your performance level moves notches higher. And then, of course, it keeps you going against all odds. When you have setbacks, delays, because you've achieved some milestones, you can tell yourself, if I've done this, then I can also do that. And then, of course, you serve as a benchmark, to properly evaluate how far you've come and what is left of you to get to where you need to get to. And then finally, you always need to have an executable plan. All right, design a unique career blueprint for yourself. If you don't have a plan, then you're messed up. You're messed up. So design that career plan for yourself, an action plan. Remember, you need to always ask yourself, what is that one next important thing that you need to do to take you to that next level? Remember, the next one important thing that will take you to that next level. And always remember to always highlight this, in terms of people, places, and things, being the bridge builder that takes you from point A to point B. When you have an executable plan, your career objectives are well spelled out. You're able to achieve your overall goal. And then resources will be well managed and allocated. You don't waste resources anymore. Then, of course, it helps you facilitate decision making better. And then you experience some level of career fluidity and the limited friction. And then, of course, you're the boss of your career. Not being the MD of that company does not mean that you're the boss of your career. Everybody is a boss in their light. So you become the boss of your career when you're in control, of your career. You're held accountable for your career. You become responsible for your career. And that's what an executable plan does for you. And then you are clear on the action plan, the first step, the next steps that you need to take. And then you have a realistic time frame for execution at the end of the day. And so remember, guys, I'm a certified coach. You need to have this at the back of your mind. I mentioned it earlier, what I do, who I am. And of course, I have a goal to help 1,000 young professionals gain clarity and direction as regards their careers. The truth of the matter is, I have shown you the way, all right? I've highlighted the 4-step blueprint to achieve career clarity and career success. But the truth of the matter is that you would always need someone that can hold you by the hand to serve as an accountability partner to see you through it, to ensure that everything is spot on, all right? And this is where I come in, okay? I'll help you discover purpose, I'll help you gain career clarity, and I'll help you take action. Which is why I need to ask you 4 questions right now. Would you sit and do nothing while you watch others get liberated, operating in that ideal profession that they are best built and designed for? Would you do that? Would you rather continue to waste time, resources, and energy gambling and experimenting your way through life, knowing that time is not on your side? I mean, would you rather be stuck with that job that you would rather not do, or would you rather live a life of purpose and have your career tied to it? Are you game, or would you rather keep playing games with your career? I don't know what your decisions are at the moment, but I'm thinking that you might need to book a career clarity session with me, and I'm offering, a free clarity session right about now. Book a free discovery and career clarity session with me today. All you have to do is click the button below this video. Okay, click the button below this video to book a free discovery and career clarity session with me today. Or you can visit www.experiencewise.com and then click the Coach Me button. Okay, so I mean, it's your choice, it's your call. I'm offering this for free at this point in time because I have a passion to help people. And my goal is set. 1,000 career professionals, I have a burning desire to help. So the faster you're able to book your free coaching call, the better for you. All right, so you're able to be allotted a time as fast as possible. Okay, just click the button below this video. Don't waste time at all. So getting to work with me is something quite remarkable, I must say. And I can take you through the game framework in 4 weeks. The 4-step blueprints to career clarity and success in 4 weeks. The gestation stage, the affirmation stage, the motivation stage, and the execution stage. And at the end of the day, I would have helped you to map out your career path with ease to experience a productive and rewarding career. So would you like to work with me? I would ask. Well, this is what some young professionals had to say about their discovery sessions with me. Olugbenga-wyse, telesales rep, says, "A little time with a purpose doctor was absolutely amazing. I didn't merit it, but you gave me 35 minutes of gold mind values. I say thank you, sir." And Cyril Kwasi Edwafo, amazing guy from Ghana, an accounting and financial professional, says, "The purpose doctor is indeed an exceptional coach. My initial interactions with him was really worthwhile. The lessons I learned from him are gems that will serve me for a lifetime, and I hope to continue with him into the future." Temitope Olusoya, an operations manager, says, "The purpose doctor was extremely patient and very easy to relate with. He listened and accurately summarized all my confusion about my career and then shared valuable insights with me. I look forward to signing up for your mentorship in the nearest future." And of course, I've got some endorsements from some industry giants, thought leaders about who I am, the purpose doctor. Temi Ajibewa, the business coach for coaches. He says, "I can honestly say I haven't met many with the passion that Olugbenga-wyse has for empowering young professionals to gain clarity and advance their career in the most transformational way." Bankole Williams, a life coach, says Olugbenga-wyse is very passionate and seeks to assist his clients to get incredible results that significantly boost their bottom line. Dr. Samuel Ekundayo, a transformational speaker, says Mr. Wyse is a dynamic and prolific speaker with a unique message for our generation and the ones to come. And Dami Oluwatoyinbo, a pastor, speaker, and author, says, "I have known Olugbenga-wyse for almost 2 decades, and he goes to great lengths to deliver with excellence. I am impressed by his ability to see the best in people, and your experience with him will deliver great value." So what are you waiting for, guys? Quit playing games with your career. The CBC, which stands for the Career Blueprint Coaching, is a career game changer, I tell you. And especially designed to help young professionals like you with career clarity and career success. It's a 4-week live online one-on-one or group coaching, and there's continuous follow-up too as well. And it guarantees results. It's been tried, it's tested, and of course, it's trusted. And you must be ready to work though. Anyone that wants to work with me must be ready, must be desirous to do the work. As your coach, I would definitely bring out the best in you to achieve your defined objectives and results. So just book that free discovery clarity session with me today. Okay, let's get started from there. The free discovery career discovery and clarity session with me today will make all the difference that you need. Click the button below this video to book that discovery session now. There are limited slots per day, and we just have only 7 days in a week, of which I don't get a coach every day of the week. So book your session now. It's a free discovery and clarity session with me today. Right below this video, you have a button that you can take advantage of immediately. And for some of you that would like to be getting, free career nuggets from me, then feel free to sign up for my free weekly 5 minutes career nuggets. All you have to do is follow that link, www.experiencewise.com/wise-career-nuggets, okay? www.experiencewise.com/wise-career-nuggets, and you would have the nuggets mailed to you every week, every Monday, right in your inbox. So, I remind you again, guys, life is an ocean with 3 kinds of people in it. Those who are lost in it and in the middle of nowhere, those sailing to no end and with no clear direction, and those that are paddling their boats committedly to their desired destination. So what do you want today, guys? Where do you want to be? And how would you like me to be of help to you? Thank you very much for your time. I'll be waiting for you on the call as long as you've booked your free career clarity sessions right now. And always remember that all we do is win, and it always pays to be wise.